G'day, boys. It's Tablebuzz. We're back today. Our first episode with a guest here in Toronto. We got a pretty big one. His name's Karl Subban. He's the father of PK Subban, but we're told there's a lot more to the story, so we're here to find out. Karl, how are you?
Very good, very good. Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you.
Yeah, our pleasure. A lot of people dream of having their kids in the National Hockey League, and you have three kids that all made it to the pro level. Like, just touch on that experience first, beginning off, really.
Well, we have the three boys, but I also have two daughters too, who are educators, and I don't mind saying that they continue to make me look. They make me look better than I really am as a parent. You know what I mean? All we can do is do the best that we can as parents and hope for the best. And so far, my five children seem to be finding their way in life, and my fingers are still crossed though.
Hey, so far so good. And PK, he just won his big award there, the King Clancy. Did you get a chance to congratulate him on that? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, you know what? I obviously called him and we talked about it just to let him know how proud I am, and I did say to him that this award tells me and so many others who he is, that he's more than just a hockey player, and it's so important that he is more than just a hockey player.
Yeah, 100%.
The world needs more than hockey players, right?
You're exactly.
We just I know the majority of us see hockey and we watch hockey or we play it, and but the world, as we know, need more than just hockey players.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if you look at the NHL, PK probably is the main hockey player that helps the community. He's always out. He's really well known for that. So you did a really good job with your son.
Well, you know what? I got to say that just because I've been around hockey from the grassroots to the pro level, and I know so many players do so much. And I know that the things that they're doing to make our society better, to make our communities better, do not always make the headlines. You know what I mean? So I remember when PK went to Belleville, and Maria, PK's mom, we know we can't take all the credit because that was built into the program there. Community work, community service. So they were learning about hockey on the ice, and they were learning about how to be a difference maker in the community off the ice. So it like the African proverb, it takes a community to raise our children. So
yeah.
So I'm proof of that.
Of course, yeah. I had another question lined up about what you were more proud of, the Norris or the King Clancy, because one is such a, his actual playing ability, and the other is the impact that his ability has allowed him to make. But you did a wonderful job answering that question. I know that my mom always said, the most sportsmanlike trophy is never one to, stick your nose up at. It's just as important as the production ones.
Yeah. I remember when PK was younger, and Malcolm and Jordan too, and I learned, as a parent, you're always learning and growing, and so I learned this along the way, and it helped me a lot to deal with things that don't go your way. That, what's his main goal of playing hockey? Since he was 5 or 6, his goal was to play like those guys on TV, and eventually to be on TV playing like them. And so he made some teams, he didn't make other teams. And here he is getting 2 awards. I am so happy for him. But I also put everything in perspective that how lucky he is to, and how fortunate he is. And like I'll go back, I'll say this again, that I'm very happy that his skills are being recognized on the ice, and the person he is is being recognized for that off the ice. And I couldn't ask for anything more other than a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one more left there, eh?
Yeah, that's it. We need the Stanley Cup.
Hopefully he can grab one for you, or maybe Malcolm.
Or maybe Malcolm or Jordan or maybe a neighbor or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tons of opportunity.
Yeah. Well, you know what? My friend Chris Stanko, Steven is in the, they're playing, and maybe if they'll win, he'll invite me over, and because we're good friends. He'll probably hear this and says, "Carl, you're always welcome." So, but I'm not going to touch the cup. You're not supposed to touch it.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I'm sure you'll get your chance.
I hope so.
Yeah. So we know that you have a large history back in, Jamaica, but when did hockey come into your life?
Wow. It came into my life the moment I started to live my life in Canada, because I was lost. I didn't like the way the place was looking. I didn't like the way that that I looked, because I was so different than the kids I saw playing outside on Peter Street in Sudbury, Ontario. And then I heard them speaking, and I realized, oh, there's something going on here. They're speaking a language I didn't understand or didn't know, and my parents told me it was French. But one day they invited me to play hockey with them. Those kids on Peter Street. They could have turned on me, turned their backs to me, called me all sorts of names. But you know what? They didn't know my name, but they grabbed my attention and gave me an invitation to play with them. And so that's why hockey is such a big part of my life, even before the NHL part.
Yeah.
It helped me with my integration into Canada. It gave me some new friends, Guy and all the kids on Peter Street, all the Francophone kids. It gave me a new sport to play. I was used to playing with a cricket bat. Now I was with a hockey stick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Both made of wood. And so I remember being a goalie, because when I played football back in Jamaica, or soccer, I was a goalie. So I knew that position. And then I knew about Ken Dryden. I saw him play with the Montreal Canadiens. You guys weren't born then, okay? So
Yeah.
I remember watching him, and I fell in love with the Canadians and Ken, and I want to be like him. And I started holding my landlord's son's hockey stick like it was a goalie stick. And so the game of hockey came into my life and sort of gave me a life, which I'm still living today. I like the way I just said that.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
Good motto. Yeah.
Poetic. Did they regret this invite? I mean, you must have been pretty good. Obviously, there's some genetics there.
Well, I've always liked sports, and I encourage young people to find their passion. Your passion will help to give you your talent and build your talents and skills and so on. And sports was something that I was good at. One of the greatest things we can give to young people is this mindset that they know what they're good at. And so I knew what I was good at. I was good at catching the ball. I was good at hitting the ball, because at baseball, at school, we used to play lob ball, baseball, whatever, 3-pitch. And I was so good because I grew up playing cricket. Yeah. I had very good hand-eye coordination, hitting the cricket ball. Cricket was my hockey in Jamaica, and so I learned a lot of skills through cricket, which were transferable to hockey. I was in net, I could catch the ball. I'm on the baseball field, I didn't need a baseball glove. I just take it off when I saw the ball.
Yeah.
Carl, you're supposed to leave the gloves on, you know what I mean? Okay, don't hold the hockey stick like it's a cricket bat, okay? But so I knew what I was good at, and so yeah, it's important that kids know, and I had those early skills which helped me to make friends, gave me something to do. And genes is an important part of who we are. Our genes are, they're not destiny, but they do shape us to a certain degree, along with the environment that we're in. So
I just can't believe we're talking to PK Subban's dad. It's an awesome year. Oh,
let me just
yeah.
We got
Sorry.
you.
No worries.
All good. It happens.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, what I was saying is obviously you just touched on your sporting career, and you didn't really bring it up, but you're obviously a basketball legend. Went to Lakehead basketball, or you played in the Lakehead basketball team. Sorry, you're their leading scorer of all time. So just obviously your daughter got that too, your basketball skills, because she's the leading scorer of York University. So
yeah. Well, I have to just correct the one part there. Johnny Zanata, late Johnny Zanata. I played against him in high school. He was my coach at Lakehead. I passed to him. I assisted on his record-breaking point to become Lakehead's all-time leading scorer. I played at Lakehead. I loved it. I mean, I worked really, really hard because I loved it. And that love made me work hard. I became better at it. I had a dream to play in the NBA, but that dream made me discover something about Karl that I didn't know, that I love working with children. And that process also told me that they love working with me. So I became an educator. My daughter also played basketball. And so Maria and I, we used to just, we taught and shoot hoops. And then, you know what? The good thing was that she fell in love with it. Sometimes, I remember when the kids were younger, the greatest love was being with mom and dad. Even PK, learning to skate. And my daughters, they skated before my sons came because they're older, because we skated as a family. And they all loved being with mom and dad. And then eventually they started to love the basketball or to love the hockey. I'm not saying more than they love mom and dad, but that's how it sort of took off. And we're lucky when kids find that thing they love to do, parents love it, because it becomes that parent that they need, that extra parent, I call it, that they need. And it helped me with my parenting and helped them with their, in their lives moving forward. So, my daughter, I played basketball, and it was a big part of my life. I never played hockey, but it was a big part of my life too, as I explained to you how I started in the sport. But the kids, they, and maybe I had a dream for them, and then they bought into that dream and made it their dream. So that's the trick. If we can get them to love something, whether or not we love it or not, it just makes it parenting so much easier.
Right on. Yeah, I can imagine. It's a free babysitter when they're at practice.
You know what? It's true. That is so true. That is so true. And they're a lot happier. And when children are learning new skills and in the team environment, they're learning new friends, they're learning to work with different adults. They're learning so many skills that they need. And it is pretty good. It's a good babysitting strategy to enforce.
And you say you guys did a lot as a family, skating as a family. As the kids got older and became, more serious about the sports, I can imagine the competition must have also increased as well. How was that?
Between them?
Yeah, like street hockey, or the laps around got quicker.
Yeah, the most intense competition took place in the hallway with PK, Malcolm, and Jordan playing mini sticks. Okay, and PK always would come out on top. Okay, if he had to, he would do whatever it is to win. But there are also moments where Malcolm was in the basement. He'll have his pads on. You go down and I don't know. He's making these imaginary saves, and I could see PK sitting on the couch taping his stick. and there was Jordan emptying the laundry basket. It's there by the front door, and either he made a ball or he's using a ball that was found somewhere, and he had really good hands. That's one thing with Jordan, he had great hands. And so, you know, yeah, so that's what I saw. There was this competition when they were playing, but there was also this internal drive that I really noticed. And I'm looking back now, I said, wow, you know, I never had to turn the TV off, because I never turned it. It was never turned off, but I never had to turn it off because they were watching too much TV, but it was always on because they were busy doing so many other things. Natasha was painting for the most part, or drawing, and PK was an artist too. Taz was always reading. I remember getting her those Goosebumps books. And so they're all doing their own little thing. They're all in this big world or a home, but they're all in their own little world within that big world, you know, and I could see how they were defining the young person that they would become.
Wow. Yeah, that must have been great to watch for sure.
Well, I had a front row seat.
Yeah. And you say PK is an artist. He's definitely turned into more of a public artist with his fashion. He's released some lines and stuff like that. What do you think of him, you know, dipping his toes into the other categories, I guess?
Yeah, you know what? I go back to Belleville and George Burnett, and because I didn't know a whole lot about hockey. Let's say I was born in Jamaica. I came here 12 years of age. What did I know? And so, and I didn't play minor hockey. I came here too late and all that stuff. But, and so when he went to Belleville, you know, you had to look a certain way. You had to dress a certain way. You had to speak a certain way. And so that's why I said it does take a village to help raise our children. And then, you know, some players will take it beyond what it is. And like PK, fashion is a big part of, you know, he's being who he is. And that's really, really important that, and I tell this to young people, be who you are. You know, there's a wonderful quote, you know, everyone else is taken. So you might as well be yourself. If that is being a sharp dresser, go ahead. You know what I mean? So that's one thing, one lesson that I've taken from PK is the fact that, you know, he is who he is in the arena that he's in. And I think when he goes to bed at night, I'm not in his skin, I'm not skating in his skates, but I know he's probably pretty happy. He's doing what he's doing, and he's able to operate within that arena that he's in. And sometimes, you know, he can feel there's a little bit of pushing back, and sometimes there's a headwind. He's in the face of this wind, but he just keeps going forward. And maybe that's why he got the Norris, and maybe that's why he was able to. He just got this award here. He just keeps going and knowing who he is, knowing what he stands for, and using so many resources around him. You know, I always say too that he could be doing so many other things with his time and money that I don't like.
Yeah, big time.
So yeah.
So yeah, you wrote a book. Obviously it's jam-packed. So do you have a favorite? There you got it on you. There you go. How we did it.
It's in French too.
Hey, for our French fans, check that out.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite story from the book that you'd like to share? Maybe kind of putting you on the spot.
Yeah, but... no, I know there are many. Well, you know what? There are many great stories in the book, and really, it's really not just to tell a story, but to teach, to support parents, to support educators as we work with young people to fulfill their potential. You know, one of the things I want people to take from the book is the fact that we need to help young people to realize their potential, you know, and that's why we parent. That's why I really believe we coach them and teach them is really helping them to realize their potential. And that, to me, that's a big takeaway from the book. But there are many stories in the book, and from my early years in Jamaica, to to the point where PK became a household name. What is one particular story in the book? One of them is, just meeting Walter Gretzky. There's a picture in there of Karl meeting Walter Gretzky, and to me, it's not really a story, but it was a moment. And I always reflect on, people call me the ultimate hockey dad. No, there he is right there, the father of the great one. There's so many stories that I can tell, from Karl Subban leaving Malcolm in Paris Sound. We went to a tournament, and my dad were coming back from the Big Nickel tournament. I thought he was still in the back of my truck sleeping, and we were like 10 minutes away. My phone was ringing. It's a good thing I answered my phone, and it was Malcolm. It says, "Where? Malcolm's not there." Malcolm in the middle. Malcolm was left behind in Paris Sound, and luckily there was one of the Don Mills. The Don Mills team had just pulled up, so the coach called me and gave Malcolm his phone. So so that was one of them, and I told other stories too, because we get a lot of credit for Marie and I, for the hockey, but one hockey dad took it over the top here. He wanted me to father a baby with his wife, and so you guys are old enough to. He thinks that I have the right genes and so on, and you're asking me about genes, but I told him to buy the book. By the way, I was going to do that. There would be a world war. It is a true story. He did approach me, and Karl, I want you to do me a favor. I go, what is it? Thinking that he wanted some information about shooting pucks or something. He says, no, I want you to, I said, no, sir, I can't do that. I said, there's no guarantee that's going to work. You know what I mean? So, but I hope he was just joking. I think he was.
Yeah.
And my wife said too that he was joking.
Yeah, that's a bit of a strange request.
Yeah.
No way, man. No way.
There's a similar scene from Ted where they try and do the same thing with Tom Brady. I can imagine.
Oh, really?
It's always crossed the minds, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe they read my book. I think they copied my story. It's a copyright here. Come on.
So, I mean, that's incredible, by the way. You obviously have to draw some comparison. There was a movie that just came out called King Richard about the father of the Williams sisters coming up.
Yeah.
So he had a plan put in place before his kids were even born that they were going to be such great stars and stuff. When did you, and now I can't imagine that's the case. That sounds a little loony to me, but when did you realize that, they have a real shot at turning, sports into a career, not just as a way to, to grow as a kid? Yeah.
So I did say to you before that we skated as a family, and the girls skated before the boys. Mm-hmm. They weren't even, they started skating when the boys were really young, and they weren't even walking yet when the girls were skating. So skating was something that we did. And both my daughters helped to teach PK, Malcolm, and Jordan how to skate. And then a good friend of mine, Dave Vince, bought PK's first set of hockey equipment. And I remember sitting there the Friday night trying to suit him up, and it was like a puzzle, you know what I mean? All that stuff. Where does this go, Anyway, I remember when PK was young, and I remember he's 5 or 6 playing in the Etobicoke Bulldogs. And I remember this grandfather saying to me, and I guess a lot of parents might hear this too, he said, he looks like a hockey player. I remember him saying that. I remember, he looks like a hockey player. And then it wasn't until PK was drafted by the Bulls. And I remember at the first training camp, George Burnett, the coach and GM, and we were the first family. PK was the first player at the camp he met with. And he, first of all, he asked him, where did you learn to skate like that? And then he said to him, you're going to play at least at the American League level. And I said, George, that's good enough for me. And so, to be honest with you, that's coming from George, who had coached in the NHL, had coached in the American League, had a lot of success. That's the first time that, because no one tells you that in minor hockey, and they shouldn't. You know what I mean? And so, you know, and obviously as parents, we have dreams. We have a vision for them, but so, you know, it doesn't all, those dreams and visions are not always realized. But when George told me that, that was the first time I had an indication that, you know what, he might play, he might make it, because you'd hear he's too slow, he's not big enough, and you hear different things. And it's so important that the message of believing in your potential, and people might look at you and they might not like your size, but they're gonna love your heart when they see you working out and playing on the ice or playing on the field or playing on the court. And so it's really important that you have this growth mindset that, you know what, I can better, I can do better, I can be better. I know that I can be better over time. You know, even though these people think they know me, they don't know me. They might know my height, they know my weight, but they don't know the size of my heart.
Got to prove it to yourself, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, what other people are saying.
Yeah, that should be the buzz at the table. The table buzz. Okay, all right.
You got it. Yeah,
you
got it. All right?
You coined it.
I knew you guys would be laughing.
I'm sure as a principal, you got all the inspirational lines, all the quotes.
Yeah, you know what? It's leaders inspire, and kids need this. The young people today, our students, they need me to be more than just a principal. They need me to be a source of inspiration. Young people today, students today, they don't need you to be a teacher. They need you to be a difference maker. And so, yeah, I look for ways to inspire them daily. You know, whether it's by sharing a quote or telling a story to make a point, just to get them to do more, get them to continue to work to be more and to become more. Because, you know, our young people have been through a lot over the last 2 years. They've been locked out, they've been locked in, they've been locked out in and locked down. And now I think they need a lot of inspiration. And so that's what I try to do every day. Whenever I'm speaking to a young person, I want to say something to them that will inspire them to want to realize their potential.
Yeah, that's above and beyond the job description for sure. That's
yeah. Well, they need us to go above and beyond now.
Oh,
you know, just showing up is not enough.
Yeah.
You know, you got to show up, put on your equipment, get in the game, and go fight.
Right.
You know, not fist fight, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I was thinking the other day about these 3 words: fear, faith, and fight. The fear and how the pandemic has made all of us so fearful of our health and of our futures and of our opportunities. But, you know, thank God we have faith, you know, and hope. And now the fight is the work we got to do. And sometimes we have to fight through a lot. You know, look at the condition of the world today, and all the news is bad. And so we have to fight through that and fight through failure, and fight through mistakes, and fight through those things that kids are being exposed to on social media. So yeah, let's work through those fear. Let's use our faith in our abilities, faith of the future, what's going to happen, being hopeful, and get ready to fight.
That's it sounds like possibly the mindset that you're your parents had whenever they moved here? Is that maybe where that stems from? What was it like whenever, looking up to them as they were going through a tough time immigrating to Canada?
Wow. My parents came here at 30 years of age and started over. They started over.
Yeah.
Can you imagine moving to a new place and starting over at 30? And so, they had hopes. I'm quite sure they had some fear, because I still remember the people who helped them navigate this, the things they had to navigate.
Yeah.
Winter clothing, all getting a doctor and stuff like that. I remember some of their friends in Sudbury, Madame Lil Dasty, she gave me spaghetti for the first time, and she helped my family so much. And probably that probably reduced some of the fear. And, and my parents had probably a lot of faith. They had a lot of faith that they would make it in their abilities. My mom was a seamstress, and she went back to school and educate herself to become a lab technician. And so my dad was a diesel mechanic, learned his trade in Jamaica. And I'm quite sure they were fighting every day to make a better life. And so we learned a lot from them. They're my heroes, their story tells me that I can make it. Their story tells me that, I can work through change, and their story tells me too, not to give up.
I mean, how could it not, right?
Yeah, that's an amazing story. Couldn't imagine switching it all over, like me moving to another country. I'm not even 30 yet, but when I'm 30, couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Let alone bringing a family with you and having to
Yeah.
support more than just yourself too. That's mind blowing.
Remember, we didn't have Google or cell phone or anything.
Yeah, you couldn't figure out. You'd have to figure out on your own where all the stores are and stuff. Like right now, we just moved to Toronto. I'd be putting it in my phone. My phone takes me right to it.
Let alone, and we had a place to live whenever we got here. They would have just been showing up, now you got to find it when you're right with boots on the ground.
Yeah. And we moved here, like my uncle in Sudbury, my dad's brother had sponsored us. So we lived them for a while, and then we moved to Peter Street. My uncle was Leslie, and he lived on Leslie Street. And then we lived on Peter Street, which is now Mountain Street. And the house is still there, 293 Peter Street. You can Google it, it's right there. It's a rectangular shape. House still looks the same. And our apartment was on the second floor. You can see the windows. I was looking through those windows out onto Peter Street. And when I saw this place, I said, no, I want to go back to Jamaica. When I saw the kids, I'm not going to go out there and play with them. They don't look like me.
Yeah.
But those same kids helped me to live a life I never saw myself living.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's a popular word, but the story is quite incredible.
Yeah. Well, what are we doing for time? Guess our meeting's going to end in 4 minutes on the old Zoom, so we might have to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I have
you were awesome though. Like this is an ideal podcast for us. Get us laughing. Not very many people can do that on here. So,
no, you know what? Happy to do it, and I love your title, Tablebuzz. And I know some. Hopefully, I've said enough that will cause a buzz.
Table's buzzing, don't you worry.
Yeah, table is buzzing, and I want to say good luck to both of you as you continue to realize your potential. And so I'm 63 and I'm still realizing it. And you got, both of you are a lot younger, and I wish you the very best here in your new home, in a new place. And I wish you all the best as you guys move forward.
That means so much.
Thank you for everything, really. Coming on here. Thank you for that message. Thank you for liking the name.
And thank you for raising some unreal kids.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know, you thank you for that. And And every day I thank the village too. You know, I never forget to thank the village. And you guys should invite me back in September, October, because I have my second book coming out.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. 100%.
Book called Skates in a Box. So your
Skates in a
imagination's
Box.
gonna run wild.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Love
Yeah.
to come on and read it and talk about it and why I have written it. So that would cause another buzz.
Oh, big time.
And I'll
For sure.
donate, I'll send one to you guys in advance.
Go.
Okay. So we
Awesome.
could have I'll read it on your, I'll read a little bit on your show.
Yeah.
We get all the kids watching now.
100%.
That'd be awesome,
That'd
yeah.
be
They'll say,
unreal.
push over, mom, push over, dad.
Get out of here.
Yeah, let's hear this story about skates in a box.
Yeah.
Right on. All right. Well, we'll see you then.
Yeah.
All
We'll be
right,
in
stay
touch
in
for
touch.
sure.
Okay. Sounds
100%.
good.
All right.
Awesome. Have a
Enjoy
good
the
one.
summer.
Thanks for joining.
All right. Thank you. Same you guys.